the feces of the cow because of what? Association. Okay, so it gets to a point where you feel that, okay, the things that you think that are right to do, the society paints it in a way that seems like, oh, they are not standing for the right thing. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Yeah, welcome back to my channel. Okay, let me put this way, our channel. All right, so if this is your first time of seeing my face, you're welcome to the family. Welcome, and hope you consider subscribing. And if you are an every time subscriber, like old time, every now and then, you're always there waiting for my videos to pop up. Thank you guys. You guys are the reason why I keep coming back here and giving you good vibes. Okay, so thank you so much for always coming back to watch my videos. I do not take this for granted in any way. Thank you so much, and I say God bless you. Things are happening around inconsciously, like things are happening now. Recent, I heard of the story of a 21-year-old undergraduate of UNILAG, who allegedly killed a man, and these things drew a lot of concerns for me. I mean, because I felt like 21-year-old girl, that what could have gone wrong is that a lot of things surrounds incidents like this. Now, if you ask me, I don't think there's really any justification for murdering a person. I understand that there could be times where you have to defend yourself, okay, like in the case of the rape now. You might actually take some decisions even without thinking about it, like decisions that could actually bring kind of harm. But for you to totally okay, so that's not the point. Now let's talk about the circumstances surrounding the situation. I'm sure a lot of people have wondered, like, what would have made this girl in question to have gotten to this extent. So I feel that today we can actually bring a discussion out of this, and these are my own key points, or let me say what I actually thought about the situation. Number one, now my question is, this is not just start in a day. I mean, talking about our indulgence now, let's focus on our indulgence regarding alcohol taking and drug. For me, the importance of association cannot be overemphasized, because see, we're in a time and age where sometimes we don't want to do some things, but by virtue of the kind of associations we make, like virtue of the kind of people we mingle with, we are compelled, or let me say we are forced to take those decisions. So think, for example, that this girl was actually a very homely person. I mean, like, probably she came from a decent background. She came from a disciplined background where, an average parent will tell his or her child, or let me say an average responsible parent will tell his or her child the importance of, being a good person in the society. They'll say things like, that is, remember the daughter or the son of whom you are. When you go to school, do not join bad gangs. I'm sure these are some of the basic things that we're told while a lot of us had to go outside of our homes, for example, our institutions, or for those people that went into boarding homes in schools. So we have a choice to make in the midst of this advice we get from our parents, either to go for it or to decline. Now, it is easier to advise, right? But it's another thing for you to take to those words of advice. That is when you know that this is the right thing to do and you do it. Now, association has a very important role to play in our lives at all levels. When childhood stage, as your teenage years, even to your adulthood, association has a lot of role. I mean, it has a very big role to play. Okay, so think about that this girl who started drinking and engaging in drug taking did not start in a day. I mean, she didn't become a pro in a day. I'm sure it started from something as little as moving with a certain set of people who are into those things already, and they start by doing those things right in your very presence. And as a good girl that you are, as a good guy that you are, you say to yourself that no, I won't do what they are doing. I'm just here to just to catch fun. I'm just there to like just follow them, just for me not to be bored. I'm not going to do these things that they do. But have you forgotten the saying that in Yoruba, the saying that àgùntàn tó bá bá ajá rìn, or let me change this way, either àgùntàn tó bá bá ajá rìn á jẹ̀gbẹ́, or ajá tó bá bá àgùntàn rìn á jẹ̀gbẹ́, one of the two. I just know that one of them has to take feces, meaning that when a cow follows a dog, at the end of the day, it gets to the point where the cow might end up eating the feces of the dog. Or when a dog follows a cow, it gets to a point where the dog will start feeding on the feces of the cow because of what? Association. Okay, so it gets to a point where you feel that, okay, the things that you think that are right to do, the society paints it in a way that seems like, oh, you are not standing for the right thing. And yet people say things about, what's the big deal in having sex? What's the big deal sleeping around with guys? That's the definition of society. So now, some things you consider as being morally wrong, the society now paints it as something that's being morally right. So you have a choice to either stay on that same decision and is staying on what is right, even though it is against what the society dictates, or you go for what the society dictates as against what you think is right. So today I'm just going to say that the kind of associations we move around with, the kind of associations we build, they have a way of influencing our decisions, our attitudes, our characters. If you are moving with someone who is very prone to anger, someone who is very, very aggressive in nature, even though you might be a gentle person, it's to get to a point where you start showing those signs, and you start showing some symptoms of aggressiveness. It starts from something as little before it starts to grow into something that might get beyond your control. For an introvert, if you claim to be an introvert, and okay, because you're this kind of person that you're reserved and everything, then you get to a point where probably you meet some set of people who are very extroverted, and you get to mingle with them. Over time, you start noticing that you start coming out from your shell, showing some signs of being an extrovert. Okay, now this is not to say that we should just be a lone ranger. Okay, of course we can't be in this world and not interact with people, because socialization happens almost everywhere, and we can't afford to just be in isolation. We have to interact with our world, right? But at the same time, we must be conscious, because the rate at which a lot of vices are going on now and here and there rather is becoming alarming, and we have to watch it. We really have to watch it. Girl, I would say that basically one number one key factor that must have likely affected her, or that would have resulted in her being this kind of mess, is the fact that the kind of associations she moved with, bit of moral upbringing. Now we have situations of people that were morally brought up right, and there are situations whereby you just have a set of parents who do not really so much care about the moral upbringing of their children, and they are so busy with their own lives, busy in their own worlds, and they just leave their child or their children to find solace in the hands of strange people. So now you have a child who you think that in your own mindset, oh, my child is so calm, she's so gentle, he or she doesn't talk, he or she is just where you put her. I think you should be afraid. Yes, in this time and age, if you have such children who they just come home, they don't have anything to say about what happened in school, they don't have anything to say. You ask them, oh, how was school today? I know they can tell you it's fine, and that's it. Even though they went through some certain things that it takes a lot of scrutiny to make them talk or to make them speak out, and you feel that okay, my child is just doing fine, that is all. You're afraid though, because I'm sure that this kind of girl, probably at home she was this kind of reserved person, and maybe she doesn't interact with people, she doesn't talk too much, she's always just on her own. I'm sure her parents have said, oh, my daughter is a very gentle girl, she's just okay, whereas a lot of things are happening in school and you do not even know. So this calls for attention for parents and guardians to make sure that you have to be friends with your children. Like, be friends, because for me now, being a teacher, I think it has changed a lot of things about me when it comes to raising children. Despite the fact that I'm a teacher, and yet I still find it interesting knowing some certain things about the children I teach, I would call them sometimes and I would be like, okay, just tell me something. What's happening at home? Are you fine? How is it going? I hope there's no distraction. You know, you just have to raise these conversations with them. Okay, so that part time you are conscious of the kind of things they do, you are conscious of how they are faring emotionally, psychologically. All these things are very crucial and important when it comes to raising a child. And I'm telling you, it is not a child's play. It is not a child's play. Okay, it is not a child. I know that by God's grace, God would help us. For those of us who are about entering into this system of parenthood or this institution of parenting, I know that God will definitely help us, because we can't do these things by ourselves. But in all, I think basically association has a lot of things to do with some certain character traits that we find in people these days. Associations, and most of the time we tend to neglect it and we feel that it doesn't really matter. But it does matter. Thank you so much for watching to this extent. I do hope you learned one or two things from this discussion. And if this is what you'd like to, to keep a tab on, please do not forget to subscribe. Drop your comments. Let me know what you think about this particular trending news. What do you think would have warranted this lady to, to have engaged in such a disastrous act? What do you think could have led to it? What are those factors that I think contributed to her behavior? What could have led her to drug and alcohol? And just let's talk and interact, okay? Like I said, this is our channel, not just my channel. This is her channel, because please do want to drop a comment at the end of this video. Do not forget to like, and remember, I love